On a bit more of a light-hearted note, Dad, I don't know whether you saw this on social media, but I want to reference this because it was a really lovely moment, and that was Tony Mowbray
Yeah.
made an appearance at Middlesbrough, and they were all singing Tony Mowbray. He's one of our own. He looked really happy and healthy. And I thought it was wonderful to see him back in the world of football, back looking good, and just an appreciation again for Tony Mowbray, for everything he went through. I know obviously it didn't quite work out for him and us at Birmingham City due to his health reasons, but great to see him back. Welcome back to Small Heath Alliance FC, and we're coming back today with another unscripted video. As always at Birmingham City, there's never a dull week, and there's always something to talk about, whether it be a transfer, whether it be something going on at the club, the stadium improvements, whatever it might be. And we like to keep these relatively relaxed. We don't have an agenda, and we just sort of talk through some of our thoughts around Birmingham City. So, Dad, unscripted video. Anything on your mind around Birmingham City at the moment?
Well, the first thing that I think we need to mention, because clearly the games come thick and fast from now onwards, don't they? And we haven't got time to do a pre and post match, particularly for the midweek Carabao Cup game. So at the time of recording, we played Charlton Athletic last night and won 1-0. Fantastic goal from Brandon Keller. So we're not going to do a post-match video, but just as an overview of what I felt about the game. I thought we had lots of possession again. I think the first half an hour, we had a lot of stray passes, but when we got into the game, we looked really good. And that was 8 or 9 changes to the starting lineup. But I think that shows that we've got good strength in depth now as well, because we completely outplayed Charlton
in their own back garden as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw the post-match interview from Nathan Jones. What was he on about? What game was he watching? He said it's just fine margins. We missed a penalty. They scored a worldie. I couldn't believe he said that.
But then he also had an admission of guilt by saying we were fantastic for the first 30 minutes. Yeah, it's a 90-minute game. So it just shows you were rubbish for the following 60. So it was a completely ridiculous interview.
I didn't get that. I think he made a bit of a plum of himself, actually, because even Charlton fans on social media were saying the same thing. Well, was he watching the same game as us? So anyway, that was a bit. But I was really encouraged by the performance. I thought some really good performance. I thought Clara looked really good and solid at the back. I like that, don't you? Physical. He's got height. Cochrane made some fantastic challenges as well. He went through the player towards the end of the second half.
Penalty save, Allsop.
The penalty save from Allsop as well.
I mean, it was a rubbish penalty. Yeah. That was a really who strikes it at that pace?
Terrible penalty. Also, I think Anderson had another good game for us as well. So and Laird had a big improvement from the Reading game. But of course, we have to sort of mention the silly sending off really of Dion Sanderson, which wasn't really necessary, and that's now suspended him. I think is it 2 games or 3 games, but anyway, he'll be missing. So overall, though, I think really, really good performance. We got the victory. We're into the next round, and an away win. So that was all good.
Yeah. And I'm not going to jump on the Sanderson bandwagon. There's a lot going around social media at the moment. It was silly, but it was silly for me because he'd cemented himself into the first team. Now he's allowed Clara to come in and fight for his space, and he will because he's a quality player. In fact, I can see Clara not giving that space up. Now he's going to get in the first team.
That's what competition's about.
Exactly.
I agree with you as well, Matt. Though at the end of the day, he did make a mistake. He's a human being, and some of the things I've been seeing on social media have been really outrageous, really, in terms of the way that people things are saying about him. I think he's a good player, and I think that in pre-season he was pinging all his diagonal balls around, and he'll get back to where he needs to be. But we need to support our players. We need to get behind them, and I think with the fans behind him, he's a top player. I think, in my opinion. I know some Blues fans don't agree with that, but I do, and I think there's a really good player in there. And I think we should get off his back and allow him to focus on his football. And every player during the season is going to make mistakes. Every player. There's not one single player that isn't going to do something that we're going to think, oh, we should hadn't done that. So, but going back to the Charlton performance, which is the first point. Yeah, good performance, good win. And, gives us confidence now going into the next game against Wickham.
It feels like we're building momentum, don't it? It feels like we're definitely going to be a high possession-based team. Chris Davis has got that nailed on. If you exclude the first 25, 30 minutes of the Charlton game, I thought we were outstanding. I thought it was a brilliant performance actually moving forward. And I just want to see more clinicalness, more, when we do get in the final third, that final delivery, the decision-making, all these little things. And it comes down to the team clicking. Once we click, That will
Yeah.
come. The goals will come. We will score a lot of goals from open play once we just get that final confidence in the final third. And I think we're building. We're getting better each game that
Yeah.
seems to go on. And I'm really confident going into the game against Wickham. It's going to be a tough game, and we've said this in the preview video. You know, they're not going to roll over for us, but the fact that we're building week
Yeah.
on week fills me with confidence. And we're through to the next round, and brilliant stuff on the cup there. And I just want to ask you in terms of moving forward, Dad. Obviously, it's an unscripted video, but comes to my mind, JJ has officially left the club. What are your thoughts on selling JJ?
Well, wish him all the best. You know, it's hard to know how much we got for him. Wherever you read, there's a different figure. Some say 4 million, some say 6, some say up to 8 million. Yeah. At the end of the day, I can't see the club letting him go for 4 because we were offered that from Atalanta in January and we didn't accept it. I think it's going to be more at the higher end. And from what I read as well, we've got a decent sell-on clause in there as well. I wish him all the best. You know, I think it's probably right time for him to move. He's come through the academy. He needs a new challenge, and you know, I thought he looked really good for us in pre-season, and we'll keep an eye on him. I do find it a strange move. I mean, out of all the places that I thought he would go, France didn't even register really, but obviously he's gone there now, and I'm sure all Blues fans would wish him the best. He put a very nice message on social media, didn't he?
Well, he's grew up with Birmingham City. It's been his boyhood club, hasn't it? And we've seen him grow, and we've said that, haven't we, quite openly on podcasts before, that there's been moments where we think he's been slightly overrated. We think there's been moments where he can go slightly invisible in games. But let's just move that to one side for a minute. He's still a quality player. You know, me and you are still big fans of JJ. This was just during different moments of his career with us, because we've seen him grow from, you know, boy to man, really, haven't we? You know, when he had his debut, he was really thin and not very physical. And then as he's leaving, if you looked at the pre-season he had with Chris Davis and the team, he looked really physical. Yeah. And he gave us that little bit of bite in the centre mid when he was playing. So I'm sad to see JJ go. I think he's a good player. But if we did get 6 million up, I think we have still made good business there. And I think we have. And I think I wouldn't listen to the 4 million. I don't think, personally, that would be an own goal in itself, wouldn't it? You know, to sell a talent of that for that price and rising to that level as well.
Can't see the club doing that. I mean,
no, exactly.
You know, we had that offer in January of 4 million for him, and it was just dismissed out of hand. So why would you accept that now? It doesn't make any sense. I think it's more between 6 and 8. I mean, I don't know. I've got nothing to base that on, but I just know the owners. You know, the club, they're not going to let him go for you know, on the cheap. Something else that you know, I thought we'd. The Reading game, you know, the Reading game was our first game of the season. It was a sold out, packed out, fantastic atmosphere. At the beginning, the atmosphere was absolutely on fire, wasn't it? It was absolutely bouncing. But I'm really pleased in a way that Reading gave us that performance. I think it was important for our players to understand what we're going to get in League One. I think we come up against a very, very resolute team that very clearly had played together for a long time. They knew each other, and they really give us a challenge. And I think that game now makes our players realise, well, if this is what League One like, we've got to up our game, because we weren't at our best. Yeah, we had great spells in there, particularly at the end of the game. I think we really dominated. But I just think the Reading performance was the Reading players' performance and the team performance gave us a bit of a reality check to say this league is you're gonna have to earn every point. And
it was good. It was first game of the season because it was a massive wake-up call immediately, wasn't it? And we've already seen the introduction of Keshi Anderson and what physical players can do in this league. He's been absolutely outstanding since he came on. And I think part of that is, I mean, he's clearly a very talented player, but he's not scared to get stuck in physically, and he can match those kind of teams and that kind of physicality, can't he? And that makes a huge difference. And for me, I was happy with Reading to some extent in terms of like the possession, and even Charlton, we really grew into that game as well. For me, I just want to see us click in the final third a little bit more. We need to be more clinical, we need better decision making, and we need that final delivery and ball to be a little bit more clinical and decisive. And when we get that, honestly, I genuinely believe we're going to start to see the wins come in thick and fast, and we're going to score a lot of goals. But for me, you know, this is Chris Davis's. So the Charlton was the second competitive game, obviously in the cup away. Wickham's only his third. So we're going to see. I think you said it in the Reading post-match, Dad. It's going to take half a dozen games for him to figure out the team, to figure out their strengths, their weaknesses, what this league means, how we're going to adapt to certain strategies and certain games, and that's going to take time for us to click. And it's just going to take a little bit of time. That's all it is. And I've been encouraged by what I've seen. And I can't wait to get that final, like, you know, when you go down the Blues and you're confident that we're going to actually score some goals. Because at the minute, I don't see many goals coming from open play, and that's a confidence thing. That's just a repetition in terms of, the team gelling and clicking. And when it does, we'll be fine.
We need another striker as well.
Need number 2.
Well, yeah, we do need a 2, and obviously we will address it because it's the elephant in the room. All the rumours around Jay Stansfield. Anybody who watches our podcast know that we're not speculating. We're not speculating now. I wanted to comment on the speculation. Until the club actually make an announcement, it's almost pointless. Yes, we can dream as fans, but I've seen posts on social media, on other YouTube channels where they've been virtually saying that Jay Stansfield is a done deal.
Having a medical.
He's having a medical. He's bought a house in Sutton Coldfield. And until that is actually announced by the club, you wouldn't. And then, but tonight, just before we came on air, post from Marco Silva basically saying that Jay Stansfield is a Fulham player and he will remain a Fulham player. Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, that ends it.
Yeah, we need to move on.
We move on and we look at other options. But yeah, I think you're right, actually, Matt. We do need 2 more strikers.
Yeah, and I think equally as pressing as strikers is a couple of more centre midfielders as well. Because obviously now we've lost JJ. If Paik and Leonard go down, we've lost 2 really strong additions there. I mean, we have got a little bit of depth. I know we can rotate. I know we do have backups, but I want to see another centre mid, maybe 2 come in as well.
Well, actually, on that, which is a good lead into to George Hall. We heard yesterday that Chris Davis said that he's going to go out on loan. So I know that also read that Sheffield United are actually interested in taking him permanently.
I heard that.
I know that's speculation as well, but that's just. There's going to be people out there that do want him, but I would prefer to see him go out on loan because he's still only 19.
Good player, George.
And he was really. We didn't see him at all last season. He had a couple of hamstring injuries and played very little.
But the season before that, under Eustace, when he came on, I thought he was a really good player. I mean, I always remember when Burnley went 1-0 up at St.Andrews, and then I think George Hall came on, or he might have been playing it, or Scott Hogan came on, one of the two. And he bolted down that wing and beautiful crossing for Hogan for a 1-1 equaliser. And obviously that was the season Burnley absolutely dominated the championship. Just a memory of George Hall and the impact he can have in games. And,
in John Eustace's time, I remember a bid from Leeds for George Hall. I think it was $5 million that they were willing to pay for him. He never obviously went. He signed a new longer-term contract with us. But I hope we don't sell him. That's in my opinion. But he's going to go out on loan, so he's not going to be here for the season. So going back to your point, that's another midfielder option we're not going to have. Mm-hmm. So I think you're right. So we do need more players. I mean, what are we, coming now to a couple of weeks till the end of the transfer window? I think we're going to see, even though we've seen a lot of incomings, we have seen a lot of outgoings as well. Mm-hmm. I counted 14 players that that have gone from last season. If you count the 5 permanents that came out of contract, the 5 loans, then you've got Alex Pritchard, you've got JJ. Who else have we sold as well? There's a couple of others as well.
Mine's gone blank.
Yeah, we appear to have brought in lots of players, which we have, but we've let a lot go as well. So I still think we're short.
Yeah, I think we're about 4 or 5 players short, and 2 strikers for me, 2 centre mids, and depending on what happens with Keshi Anderson in terms of playing him on the right wing. Backing up what you said a couple of weeks ago, Dad, I wouldn't mind an additional right winger as well. Although we have got Yokohama now. Is Yokohama?
Yokohama.
What's his name?
Yokoyama.
Close. Yokoyama. Yokohama.
Your Japanese isn't as good as mine, so that's funny. But that's another thing. Actually, Bakuna is another one that we've. I don't know what's happened with him. Somebody posted. Somebody posted on social media as somebody in Saudi Arabia kidnapped him. Longelo ain't going to play for us again as well, but he's still with us, and because obviously he's moved to Barnsley. So basically, there's lots of players that have gone. So we've actually let more players go than we've actually brought in. So we're still short, and I still think we'll see a flurry of activity
We'll see it right up until deadline day. Yeah. We always do that. I mean, I remember the last season we saw players coming in. Half an hour before. Unfortunately, it was Ollie Burke, which we had a forgettable season. But we will see action coming in right up until the last minute of the transfer window.
He's not still available, is he?
I have not. Again, this really made me laugh because I work in Coventry and I've got a lot of Coventry fans. There was this fake account going around that Ollie Burke would be going to Coventry for $1 million, and I just sent it to all my friends. And I was just having a right laugh about it. But it was a joke account, I think. But it started to get some traction and some legs, and I was like, oh God, if you get him, you're in for a nightmare of a season. Yeah. But anyway, so On a bit more of a light-hearted note, Dad, I don't know whether you saw this on social media, but I want to reference this because it was a really lovely moment, and that was Tony Mowbray
Yeah.
made an appearance at Middlesbrough, and they were all singing Tony Mowbray. He's one of our own. He looked really happy and healthy. And I thought it was wonderful to see him back in the world of football, back looking good, and just an appreciation again for Tony Mowbray, for everything he went through. I know obviously it didn't quite work out for him and us at Birmingham City due to his health reasons, but great to see him back.
I saw that. Even there, I watched that, and he's such a humble guy.
I love him.
He almost felt embarrassed to be there, and the fact that people cared about him and stuff like that. But I was really pleased to see that because he looked healthy. I mean, and I'm sure at some point we'll see him back in football at some stage. But as you say, he just weren't meant to be at Birmingham City. It was just bad for him for timing, and he's obviously clearly his health was a priority.
I'd love to get him back down Birmingham City. In terms of not as a manager, I love Chris Davis. I mean, as to come say hello and get him in the centre circle during a game, and for us to show our appreciation for him, and just
he's bound to get a sponsorship from Revel.
Yeah,
from Revels, isn't he? Whoever is it Roundtrees or somebody like whoever makes it.
It's Revels, yeah. Well, yeah. It's he said that he'll be walking down the street recently, and people will give him like random bags of Revels and stuff because obviously that's his thing. And I remember when we beat Sunderland, someone chucked a bag of Revels, and it landed at his feet, and he picked it up and he cheered and stuff like that. So great to see Tony Mowbray happy and healthy and back in back at Middlesbrough.
Yeah, and just a few final things. Just a few bit of information about the channel, really. We've decided. Obviously, the channel's got very popular very quickly, and we have tried our very best from the very beginning to respond in detail to every single comment. I mean, every single comment that's actually been made, which we've done so far. But it's been difficult in terms of we want to try now. Obviously, both of us work full time and our families as well, and we want to spend our time focusing on the quality and the type of content that you guys like. So we are going to still acknowledge comments and we read every single one of them, but we've decided we're not going to respond in detail any longer because obviously it just takes up so much of our time. Me and Matt were talking about this, and sometimes we sort of almost towards the end of the night, still answering comments, and we love them all. We love every single comment, but it's just not humanly possible to answer every single one in detail. But so we will acknowledge your comments, and we'd like you to keep commenting, please, because we'd like the comments to be used as a forum for Birmingham City supporters to talk amongst yourselves and give your opinions. We will monitor it though, because we're quite strict in terms of the fact that we are a family channel. So any comments, as you know, that have abusive language or aggressive behaviour or insulting, they will be deleted because we will look and read every single comment. So we just thought we'd mention that, didn't we, Matt? That we love your comments. We want you to still keep making them. We will acknowledge them, but you might not get the level of detail that you had from us in the past. So that's the first thing. So next thing, Matt.
So yeah, again, I just want to double down on that and just say thank you, because this channel doesn't really work if people don't watch and comment in the first place. So we do appreciate everyone's input, don't we, Dad? And we do genuinely read them. Even me and you sometimes take it in turns, and if you're clearing comments, I'll be in bed at night and I'll read through what everyone's written. So I personally, genuinely, and I know you do, Dad, I go through every single comment, don't we? Even though we haven't been the ones to respond. So it's really important.
One of the things that we decided when we set the channel, we wanted it to be a community channel, so that we wanted this to be a forum. Not because obviously we're really flattered that you want to listen to me and Matt talk about Birmingham City, but it would be a little bit meaningless if there was no engagement from the Birmingham City community. So please continue to use the comment section to add your thoughts and comment between yourselves.
And also before the first game at Reading, me and Dad had a bit of it was a couple of pints and a bit of a chat, wasn't it, at the Roost? And we were talking about the channel and our future development. And I won't share everything that we spoke about, but I will share two things which are on the horizon or have been done, and that's that we're now on Spotify, which is great because a lot of you have commented saying that we love the channel, but you can't always have YouTube open. So Spotify now gives you the availability to listen to it and watch it as a proper podcast, which is great. And also studio differences. So we thought we'd add a little bit of a spin on it. I'm sure you can see a nice big flag behind me, a little scarf behind Dad. So just mixed it up a little bit, made a little bit of a difference, and Won't go into all the finer details, but there will be some bigger changes on the horizon for the next 6 months as well, won't there, Dad? Some exciting things coming.
Yeah, we've got some plans to do different things to try and make the channel even better, make it more interesting and engaging for you guys as Birmingham City supporters. And so just keep an eye out for those. Just going back to Spotify, what do people type in when they go to Spotify?
So there's a link in the video description. So I've changed our pinned comment below, so you can literally click that and it will take you directly to our Small Heath Alliance FC page on Spotify. And if you, for some reason, that link doesn't work, or you can't find it, or you're listening and you don't have the accessibility, if you go to Spotify and type in Small Heath Alliance FC, you'll see it. And because you follow our YouTube, you'll recognise that badge that we have, because that's the thumbnail on Spotify as well. So, so it's all consistent. So people will be able to see that on there. Brilliant.
Okay, yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I've got nothing else, to be honest, Matt.
No, just one final thing for me, Dad. Obviously, we play Wickham on Saturday, and I'm really excited to get to that game. First away game of the season for me and you. And can't wait to get down there and watch the Blues away.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So as always, Blues fans, we'd love to hear from you. Please drop us a comment in the section below with some of your thoughts about the topics that we discussed today, and we always love reading those. And please check us out on our X page and our Instagram page with the handles popping up on screen right now. And we are on Spotify, and you can find that link in the pinned comment below this video. And if you like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any future content all about Birmingham City. And myself and Dad will see you on the next video.